Hey guys, Matt B here, and in this video we're going to show you how to install a set of our shift boots. We're going to show you the tools you're going to need, which are basic, just like scissors and stuff like that, and the items you're going to need to do so. So stick around and stay tuned. Okay, so here's the stuff you're going to need for the install. You'll want to get your old boots. Most of the time they're just on plastic frames, so you can just pop those out of the car. You're going to want to get some binder clips, either a package like this, or places like Office Depot, Target, and Walmart will sell little containers like this of various sizes. You'll want a pair of scissors, maybe a pair of gloves, that's optional for the glue so it doesn't get on your hands. And then this is the glue I recommend. It is Loctite gel type super glue. It's about $3 to $4 depending on where you get it. I get mine at Walmart, so it's just easy to applicate the glue. There's little buttons you can push on the side to easily run the glue out through the tip. So go ahead and open the glue up. Set that there, and then for the top you're just going to want to turn it clockwise and puncture the top so the glue runs to the surface. And since we have this container open here, we're just going to use these, but this is just an example of the kind of packages you can get. So we'll set those down here. And ideally, your boots would have shipped in an envelope, so you'll want to go ahead and take the boots out after they arrive. And they ship inside out, so you're just going to want to go ahead and flip them around. Okay, set that aside there. And then, sometimes the old boots have a lot of dust, dirt, and sort of, debris on them. So I recommend putting the gloves on. And then you're just going to start sort of working an edge back here. Just trying to peel the fabric off. So you can see it's really, really dry, this leather is here. This is an E36 front, or a shift boot. And you can see the stuff is just really, really crispy here. So just want to go ahead and get this all peeled off here. Set that over there, and you can see the kind of the dust here. So I actually have this little Bavarian flag here, but I recommend maybe some newspaper or something like that. Just want to set it down wherever you're going to work on these. And then we got some scissors here. So what the scissors are good for, or some sort of a razor blade, but just be careful. You're just going to get the blade off here, and then it helps sort of loosen some of these edges up. Just kind of want to get a nice clean edge in the frame. You can leave some of the textured surface here around the edge. The glue actually helps the glue stick to it if there's a little bit of roughness. And the factory actually uses a heat and press and crimp method, so they just sort of put a little iron on the edge and sort of clamp the fabric onto the plastic frame here and sort of melt it into the plastic. So it's pretty easy to pull off here. So once you get it cleaned off, it'll mostly look like this side here. So we'll do a quick time lapse here and kind of speed it up. And get back to you guys here in a second once it's all clean. That's probably about good there. You don't have to be 100% and get everything little crumb off 100%. So kind of a trick I use here is just to whatever paper or whatever you have laid down, just kind of brush this stuff forward here. Okay, so this is one of the real complicated parts, which is easy for some, but basically you want to just get your boot. And you'll have the French stitching. That's designed to go forward, so to face the driver. Honestly, you can do it to the side, to the back, to the front, whatever suits you. But I generally, since this would be like the back of the car this way, I generally have the French seam here that we add facing the driver, so it looks a little more aesthetically pleasing. So what you're going to do is just get your frame and sort of flip it upside down here, and just kind of get the frame kind of pushed up in there a little bit. Sometimes if you set it down like this, it works a little bit better. And there is some excess on the bottom, just in case you guys want it a little bit more loose, a little bit more tight. And then it'll sort of just look like this right here. You'll have the frame just tucked inside. And so at this point, you're just going to want to get a couple binder clips. It doesn't matter which size. You can use a big, small, but I'm just going to use these 1-inch ones here. Excuse me, you're just going to clip the sides here. And this is just sort of hold the boot on, so while you're working the boot and gluing the other sides and stuff, it's not moving all over and popping off the frame. So we're going to start with this bottom side here. So uncap your glue here, and you're going to glue on the outside of the frame, which is sort of the fabric side here. So you're going to glue from about these two brackets here, so two prongs sort of clip in the console. So again, on the outside, so you're going to run about 3 or 4 inches, a little tiny thin line of super glue on the outside. Okay, leaving the corners and the radius of the corners undone. So then, when you get that glued, you're going to put the binder clips on. And you don't have to have them exactly, touching or butting up against each other. Just make sure they're, somewhat close, so you get good coverage and good pressure on the spots you're gluing. It'll sort of look like so there. And you can actually work on the other side if you want. So we'll unclip this side, and we'll same thing on this side of the boot. So just kind of lift up the fabric here, run a tiny thin little line of the super glue. And again, this is a gel type, so once you put it on, it doesn't necessarily run over the edge. If you can sort of see there, it sort of eases out. It's a gel, so it's super easy to control. There's not a lot of mess, and if you push these buttons on the side, it slowly comes out of the top, so it makes it a heck of a lot easier for doing installs like this, so you don't get all over your hands and all over the fabric. So okay, and again, just give this a nice little tug down, make it tight again, and then you're just going to put your binder clips, again the 1 inch, just on the edge. And sometimes if the spacing's a little bit off because the prongs are in the way, you can kind of just hold this here with your finger, or you can kind of just slide these clips down and make sure you have good coverage. We'll pop another one on there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty, like I said. You just want a good area of pressure to hold the fabric down. And you want to let this sit for about a minute or so. So we'll do a quick time lapse here, and we'll get back to you guys in just a minute. Alright, so the first side we glued here. Just be very careful and take one of the clips off, and you can just check to see if it's already been adhered. And it has, so it is starting to hold. You just want to be real ginger with how much pressure and stuff you're applying. And you can kind of see here where the clips were sitting, it puts a groove along that plastic frame, which will be a nice fitted edge for when you pop it in your console. So we're going to do the top here, or the spot that faces the front of the car. So same thing, glue on this side of the frame, or just sort of lift the fabric up, and same thing, you're going to leave the corners unglued right now, and just put a nice thin little. So we'll do a quick time lapse here, and we'll get back to you guys in just a minute. Side, and same thing, you're just going to get a pull down, a 1/4 inch or so, maybe 1/2 inch, just so you can re-snug it up. And same thing, you're just going to get your 1 inch binder clips and put them right back on the edge there. And like I said, if you can't get all the areas covered because the clips may be an odd size or an odd length, you can just use your finger here and hold that side down. So again, we're going to do a quick minute time lapse here, and we'll come back here in just a minute. Okay, and now that that's been sitting a little bit, we are going to unclip this side here. And this is the other side. This is the right side that we had clipped. And again, you can see that nice sort of fitted edge there, along with that little lip of the frame is. And again, just be careful when you take the clips off in case there is glue that sticks. You don't want to rip the fabric off. And we're going to glue the bottom portion, or the spot that, or the part of the frame that faces, or the boot that faces towards the driver, or the back of the car. So same thing, we're going to take our glue here again, and on the outside of the frame, you're just going to look up underneath here, lift the fabric, and put a thin little line of super glue. And again, leaving the corners unglued, because we'll get with those in a second. Okay, And again, nice little tug, just give it a nice little tug to re-snug up the fabric. Okay, and like here, since it is smaller at the bottom, sometimes it helps to get a little variety pack of these clips, because I can actually fold this fabric down here and put a little thin clip in there to hold that area while it glues. Okay. Now, so this is, I think, it's about a 30 pack or so. You get some 2-inch ones. There's ones that are 1 inch, ones that are 1/2 inch. So there's a good variety in there that helps for corners like this, or certain frames that are smaller in the bottom. So, and we'll go ahead here and unclip the top, or the spot that faces towards the engine or the front of the car. You can just check it here. It is glued. The stuff does glue pretty quick. Yeah, it's just about 30 seconds to a minute. Sometimes I let it sit for a couple minutes just so it fully cures and it fully hardens. So this is the part that gets people sort of flustered, or is a bit more tricky. And this part you're actually going to use your hands. So this is where the gloves come in, so you don't have to get the glue on your fingers and stuff. So on the outside radius of the frame, you're just going to get your glue in there. You know, don't get crazy with it, but just put enough in there so it'll stick. Recap it. You're going to get your thumb, place it on the inside corner here, and do your 4 fingers, kind of radius the corner with your fingers like so, and your thumb on the inside like that. And you're actually just going to hold this yourself for a minute. Since I couldn't find clips that were round like that, you're just going to hold it with your fingers and your thumb, keeping pressure for about a minute or so. And that's why it helps to have a beverage out here, or a snack or something, or your phone, so you can watch a video or something while it glues. So just keep that hold down for about 30 seconds to a minute. And again, we'll do another quick time lapse here for you guys, and we'll come back here in a second, and we'll start the other corners. Alright guys, we're back here, and what I just did is I pulled up my phone here, and I actually pulled up the stopwatch feature. So if you're not sure if it's been 30 seconds or a minute, you can just do kind of a quick glance. And you can see that my glove kind of stuck on some of the glue there, but it is sort of, again, glued down over the radius there, and there is a nice sort of fitted edge on the edge there where we glued it. So you can see on the inside there, it's glued on the frame. So we're going to do the other corner, same thing. Uncap your glue on the outside of the frame. You're going to run a little tiny thin line of glue, recap the glue, pull this fabric down just a little bit again, put your thumb on the inside radius, give it a tug there, thumb on the inside radius, and get your 4 fingers on the outside again just like that, and you're going to hold that again for about a minute or so. So we'll watch the timer here, and we'll come back to you guys in a minute, and we'll do the time lapse. Right, so it's been about a minute there, and you can see it's held down on the edge there. And this is exactly why you wear the gloves here, in case you get glue on the fingers. It took the tip of the glove off, and just toss that over there. So we're going to go unclip the bottom here, or the part that faces the driver. And this is all glued down, so we're going to do the corner again, the outside corner. Okay, glued on the outside. And we'll just switch hands here since I'm missing the thumb here. So again, put the thumb on the inside of the radius. As you do, pull down a little bit. Thumb on the inside there, fingers on the outside. And hold that for about a minute or so. And we're going to watch the clock here, and we'll do another time lapse. So we'll come back to you guys in a second. Okay, it's been about a minute or so. So that corner's glued down. And we just have one more. So again, outside corner. And this, the reason I like this glue too is it's got a little bit of a tip on there, so you can kind of get it up in underneath the fabric where you're gluing. So again, just run a little bit of the glue up there. Give it a little bit of a tug, thumb on the inside corner, and we're just going to hold it there. And this does come with a little bit of excess here, and we will trim this here in a second. I leave you guys a little bit of extra on there, so in case there's some sort of mistake, you want to readjust it, or sometimes people want, a little bit more fabric, more baggy, or some people want it really tight, so they'll pull it like I'm doing here to make it more flush and, less sort of bagginess on top. It's totally up to you guys what you want to do, but I'll show you here in a second how we trim it. Alright, we'll do another little quick time lapse here, and we'll get back to you guys here in a few seconds. Alright guys, that's probably good. So, this is when this will start looking like a little bit more of a shift boot. So, what you want to do is every inch or so, every couple inches, you want to put a little, about an incision up to the bottom of the plastic frame there. So just kind of cut up into the plastic frame. Don't go above it though. Just cut around, about 4 or 5 times, or 3 or 4 maybe on each side. This will help you cut off the excess so you're not cutting one big piece. Alright, and then you're just going to use the bottom of the frame as your guide, and you can sort of leave those spots with the little barbs, the plastic barbs, and come back to those. So we're just going to trim around the edge here. So what I do for when I come to these little plastic barbs here, you can actually just flip it over. Since we didn't glue on the barb itself, just sort of cut like this on the top. And you can flip this to kind of see where your progress is on the frame. And again, flip it over. It helps to have a sharp pair of scissors. These ones are fairly new here, so just keep that in mind. You'll want a good quality pair of scissors or a real sharp razor blade. Just toss those pieces aside there. Same thing over here. We'll use the scissors and just kind of go over the plastic barb. You flip it down, follow the edge of the plastic frame. Alright, now at this point you can kind of look around the edge, and not that you're going to see this part, but you can kind of clean up any edges that you might have missed. And if you have a little ripple where a tiny section didn't get glued down, that's not going to be a problem. So what you'll do, just get your fingers here and invert the boot just a little bit, about an inch or so, and there you have it. That is specifically a cross boot that was originally an E36 DIY, how to glue it on the frame. So that's pretty simple once you sort of see the steps now it's done there. And for the rears, it's basically identical. You'll take the leather off again, or the old vinyl. You'll start with the edges here, glue down the sides, leave the corners undone. You'll do the edge about 1 inch on top, 1 inch on bottom, depending on what kind of e-brake you have. And then you'll come back and you'll put your thumb on the inside again and sort of hold your fingers down around the outside to do the corners. So you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video, and follow my Instagram at 2mshiftboots.com. I'll put a link in the description. Again, thanks so much guys, and hope you enjoyed the video.